Alrighty, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Chupacabra's Lair. I am your host, Larry the Chupacabra, and we're back for more delectable Ludum Dare action. And, this time it's Ludum Dare 31, and the jam theme, or overarching, thingy, needs to be in every of one of the games, is everything within a single screen. And to start off our showcase today, we'll be playing Orion by Feiss, F-E-I-S-S, not sure how to pronounce that. But this is a really cool game. We are playing, right now, as the captain aboard a shuttle. And we need to do launch sequences in this cockpit simulator in order to launch our craft to go to Mars. And we need to check all of our systems. Here we are. Turn on all of our flight control systems so that we can get going. And then we need to rotate the service structure. I think that means that we need to disembark the crane thingy attached to the shuttle. And why do I really like this? Because I really enjoyed this. This is really cool. Well, currently right now, we've got a bunch of games coming out like Star Citizen and Eve's Valkyrie. And those are games all about first-person sci-fi space exploration. And that stuff is pretty gosh darn cool. And this really feels like taking a step backwards in time to sort of, right now, but it also feels like more of like a 16-bit version. Or like a 64-bit, I don't know. But like a much simplified, more simple graphical version of that, and I think it's great. Alrighty, we're almost ready to go. We just got a couple more steps and we'll be in space. And so after I load the propellants and launch, I'm gonna have to pay attention to this little box here to watch my pitch of my spacecraft so I stay on trajectory and I don't explode in space. Don't know about you, but exploding into the vacuum of space and watching the bits of me fly off into the distant parts of the cosmos sounds cool at first, but not good for the skin or the internal organs. So where is my propellant? Here we are. I'm gonna load the H2 and the O2 so I have control in space. They mix those together and we actually move around in space using, well, basically water. Or wait, no, was it that the fuel cells in space does that, and the water's for, you know, the big tank that launches us into space? I forget. I'm sure someone will be happy to correct me and inform me which one is which. So now I need to use the up and down arrows, and I need to pay attention to this main engine, because I got kicked out of this the first time because I didn't hit the go button when the countdown happened. NASA's really particular about that. You can't screw up their big dramatic moment with the frickin' countdown. 2, 1, do the thing! Alright. So, whoosh, zoom, off we go. I need to be very careful that this stays as close to 0 as possible. And it gets very quickly very hard to control the pitch. Wait, oh! I don't understand. Which one was the one I needed? Oh, here we go. I needed the middle one. My bad. I was wrong. I was confused before, but here we are. Alright, we've entered orbit. And we're gonna start heading off to Mars, but we need to hit first stage separation. And keeping our pitch under control. And then we need to... Payload? No. Perform fairing jettison. Fairing jettison. Completed. So we've jettisoned part of our spacecraft, and we're entering low Earth orbit. And then we need to set our orbital sequence parameters. Orbital sequence parameters. Oh. Setting orbital sequence. Uh-oh. The pitch is getting all janky. Right? And as you can see, Feiss did a lot of cool stuff by adding, like, stars and stuff floating through here, like bits of atmosphere. We'll start entering second stage separation. And, this is just cool. You can, like, push this down and you can see the Earth. That's awesome. This is really cool. Alright, I need to skirt jettison. Alright, skirt has been jettisoned from the back of my spacecraft. And I want to point out to everybody how absolutely cool it is. I need to check in with mission control. Uh-oh. Why is everything getting all spicy on me? Which one of these? Uh-oh. Plummeting to Earth. That's not. Where's my comms button? It's the radio. Air conditioner? No comm. Maybe I already communicated with ground control. But, I mean, just think about this for also a second moment to how kind of somewhat accurate this is to when we first went to the moon and stuff. Because we went to the moon with not even like a thousandth of the computational power of your smartphone sitting in your lap or on your desk or that your family or friends use. And we got to the moon. We put a man on the moon, and now we have all this technology. And I'm excited for this to take us to Mars. I hope that happens in my lifetime. I really do. This is great. I love the aesthetics of this. I love the concept of all in one screen. And I could definitely see you turning this into a spacefaring sim game. With a lot of other people, and you dock at stations, and you gotta go through interfaces like this. Almost like a modern-day Buck Rogers game. Man, that would be great. Or whatever the Space Quest games are that Sierra used to make. You could totally just take this and run with it. And I really hope you do. This was a great surprise. Somebody linked me to this on Twitter. I'm sorry I lost you in the sea of notifications lately. But thank you for sharing this with me. And excellent job, Feiss. This is great. I like the hunting for equipment because you don't necessarily know what all of it does. Uh-oh. Getting out of control. Getting out of control. Line it back up, Larry. Alright, we're approaching Mars, but if you look, we actually haven't left the orbit of Earth. And this reveals that Feiss didn't get the absolute chance to finish this game off before the end deadline. But you know what? I think you should go back in a post-mortem version. And I'm going to look for it, and I'm going to play it again at the end of this Jam Showcase series. This was really cool. Very nice job. And if you guys like this too, links are in the description. Make sure you vote. Got 20 days to do the thing. Alrighty. Okay, so after that nice, relaxing introduction to the showcase, we're going to play Desserts Killed Your Daddy, done up by none other than my two buds over at TwoScoopGames. Alex Buzeska and Eric Lathrop. A couple of really cool guys. I think Alex does the art and Eric does the code. And Eric I think they both do talks about game dev at different conferences. And so this is a really crazy, endless sort of arcade fighter type game where you're, I don't know, like the Pillsbury Doughboy's cousin Gerald, and you've got to fight off crazy desserts using your spacebar and your arrow keys. And you're probably going to hear some of that in my microphone. And you got to survive till you get 50 points in order to fight the Gingerbread Lord, the boss of this evil, devious kitchen. And so this is a game that is basically an endless arcade fighter type game. It's very simple. You just run around and you beat the crud out of things. And if you need to heal, you got to find those salt and pepper shakers, and sometimes they contain a heart. I have a hell of a time with this, except when I have to kill a bunch of these turtles. Because stuff really creeps up on you real fast like that. But I did get to 37 points. Usually my average is like 17. And so, yeah. It's pretty straightforward, really. You run around and you bludgeon stuff, and you try to last as long as you can. And, the other thing that I really enjoyed about this is I'm a stickler for variety. I really am. I need lots of stuff, even if it's just other colored stuff. And these cake tortoisei, they come in a vast variety. of colors. There's multiple different types of cookies, like these extra spicy sugar cookies that want to jump at my face and eat me. I'm not sure if I'm made out of dough, or if they're just bloodthirsty and they need flesh to survive. Maybe the zombie virus has infected these delectable baked goods. But they all have sort of a different sort of behavior, which is very cool. And they all want to murder me. But there's definitely a variety of them, which is awesome. And it takes you a little bit to get to the Gingerbread Lord, which I've done a couple of times off camera. And then after you murder him, it just keeps going. You gotta try and beat your high score. Which is kinda cool. I mean, it's very simple. It's straightforward. It's all on one screen. Stuff is constantly spawning and coming after you. And I have a heck of a time trying to coordinate my movements and my fighting and avoiding getting touched by everything. Not entirely unusual. And so, that's one of my only real gripes about this game, has been it's a little hard for me specifically to control. I've played other games like this that have a great following of individuals that play them. But this has always been the type of game that's a little bit difficult for me. But did you see that? Those sugar cookies, they just bolt right for you. Gives you not only just variety in visuals, but some of these snacks, they really want to murder you. They all act differently, and it kind of throws a monkey wrench in your strategy if you're just kind of wonking back and forth like I am. So, what was my suggestion for the controls? Well, I've been playing some Binding of Isaac recently. I got into that game when it got remade or relaunched or expanded upon in the new release. And I liked the notion of using your WASD keys to move, and then using your arrow keys to fire your weapon. Because if you see right now, like, the direction I moved in most recently is the direction that my rolling pin attacks. And that can be kind of difficult to have enemies chasing you and do like a clutch maneuver and beat the crap out of them as they come up right on you. And I think that would be a little easier if you tried to use a little bit more dynamic controls. But otherwise, I like the variety. I think it's cute and arcadey, even though it's always super spicy and really ramps up very quickly and gives Larry the hardest of time. But it's simple, and it's fun, and I really enjoy it. There's plenty of cute little sounds and music done up by Ill Storm, I believe. So I'm just thinking about some other little details that might be interesting. So currently, the only stuff you get is health from the salt and pepper shakers. But I think you should have some extra items that can come out of these ovens, for example. Like maybe some of them can explode and do area of effect damage if you get a bunch of enemies coming at you. Or maybe they just drop items as well. It's up to you guys. I mean, you're the crazy game designers. I'm just spitballing some ideas here. And it is going to become kind of a pain in the butt to try and concentrate on what my points of contestment are, and murder all these cookies. They're so delicious. Why would you do this? This is like the most angry way to get diabetes ever. Holy smokes. So you could have more variety of items, more variety of stuff popping out or being dropped by not only the salt and pepper shakers, but also the ovens and the critters. Maybe you could have some other utensils dropping down from the sky on occasion. Like maybe if I go for a certain amount of time without taking too much damage, I could be rewarded with an assistant. Maybe there's a spicy mixing machine that will jump down and like do a twister and suck up all of the baked goods that are trying to touch me and murder them that are on screen. Or maybe I get a power-up that extends the reach of my rolling pin and turns it into a kamikaze typhoon spin-a-majig tornado. Power-ups would be cool. And maybe even if you guys port this to another platform or just expand it in the browser, you could log in somewhere and work up to some cool rewards. Like maybe I get up to 200 points and I can unlock a new environment to do battle in. I am trying desperately to get the gingerbread man, and I might just wait and get it off screen when I'm not talking and show you. But then a cute gingerbread man comes on screen, and he's got like some sort of sugar candy thing on his back attached with frosting, and then he gets all kinds of opinionated about the things that we're doing with this rolling pin. And then you murder him, and you're on to the next wave. That could be something too, like every 50 points, there's a new kind of boss that you have to fight that does something different in a different type of environment. Like, as you kill a boss, maybe the environment starts to shift and you're pushed off screen by, like, fire or cooking spices or a wave of cutlery. I don't know. But there's definitely all sorts of things you could do in an endless arcade-type game that would expand upon the experience for people, like unlocking skins, power-ups, being able to gain abilities, or just have alternate characters you could play that have got different abilities. There's all... Whoa, my screen just froze. But anyway, very nice job, you guys. Another delicious gem, as always. Keep up the good work. And I see that there's lots of other people up at Game Dev Lou that have put out some more games, and I'll be having to spice those into the showcases as we go onwards. Alrighty. Last but certainly not least, we have got Birds. Not Stephen King's The Birds, mind you. Kinda close, there is Birds and Murder, but it's Birds by Barry Rowe and his Jam team. And we've got, they're all from roaringcatgames.com. I think they're a part of Game Dev Lou. And we've got art by Loy Lemix. We got some delicious programming by Rex Soriano, and additional programming by Barry Rowe. And right off the bat, I don't often see a game that does a nice job of handling some old school posterization type art. So it's an old effect. You used to see this a lot in Flash games from like the 90s. Some of them did it well, some of them didn't. Most notably, I don't know if you guys have seen the anime FLCL, but I started watching that recently. And I get this vibe from like older school type sitcoms and animes, kind of like that's trying to parody. Just of like these clouds shifting in the background of this silhouetted posterized city. And it's very relaxing to me. So the first stage of this game is we can just fart around with the birds and piss them off and make them fly away forever if we want. Which is cool. If you like birds, you're kind of a bird-watchy fella, and you want to kind of take a look at the animation, the couple-frame animation. Each bird's got an animation, which is cool. They got some colors. Although you can use your hover powers. Oh, yes, rise, my birdie, rise into the heavens. So that's the first stage of the game. But if you're feeling a little bit more in need of a challenge after I scatter some of these birds, because I've gotten way too many birds built up, you can see this switch down here. We're on chill mode. We can switch it to the shocker. And no, that's not a sexual pun or a joke about porn. No, it's about these little sparks of electricity that can murder our fine avian friends. And, well, as much as there are some birds that tick Larry off, we already lost him. I do like it when most of the birds stay alive, because birds are great to look at. And they help, around here, they help spread wildflower seeds, like the prairie bluebird out here in Colorado helps spread the wildflower seeds for, like, the Indian paintbrush and the bluebells, I believe. And they also help spread cactus seeds. So I like the birds, because I like the flowers, the prairie flowers. So we just avoid the birds getting hit by this ray of juice. Otherwise, they turn into delicious roasted turkeys, which I found kind of cool. It's very festive. And I guess you just have to try to keep as many birds alive. You can only let 4 die. And it just has this counter of how long you've been keeping them alive, or maybe how many birds you've saved. I don't know. That's a lot of birds on that line. You can quickly lose this little mini-game. But no, this is cool. I kind of wish there was more of a goal, though, is my only thing. I mean, there's really not a progression. It's kind of like a mini-game. Sort of like say you were playing a Pixar movie, and like in the future they hired game designers to make the intro animation, and it turns out that like it was an animation rendered in Pixar quality animation, and you had to interact with it to save the birds on that power line in the Toy Story movie. That was kind of the vibe that I got. So what could you do with this? Well, you could have a progression of different things you had to save, and each time, you know, every so often, every so many times a power goes across the line, something new that you got to worry about comes. Like maybe you get a fat owl, and the fat owl takes forever to get out of the way, so you got to really get him going in advance, and then you got to go back and get the rest of the birds, because some of the birds come back too quickly, so you got to constantly keep track of them. And maybe there's an eagle, because we love eagles, and like the eagle's kind of oblivious, and you got to poke at him a bit before he goes anywhere. That's not a political joke. Maybe it is. I don't know. You could add a bunch of different birds with a bunch of different challenging features that make it harder and harder to protect them and keep them alive. And then maybe you progress through different levels, like you go to New York and you've got pigeons, or you go to the mountains and you've got big horned owls, like the one that hangs out outside my kitchen every year in the wintertime because it's warm out there. Or, I don't know, like maybe you go to the beach and you gotta worry about seagulls, and maybe kids are trying to kill the seagulls, so they throw food on the power lines. You gotta knock the food off the power lines. And so keep the seagulls from staying fixed in one position. I don't know, you got lots of options. And I hope, if you do go somewhere with this, you explore something, because this could... I don't know how this could be, expanded, but the controls are very simple. All you gotta do is swish... All you gotta do is swish your mouse over the birds to piss them off and make them fly away. Although I'm not doing a spectacular job, it must be said. You could do that on a phone, even. I mean, touch-sensitive phones, you could just swish and, you know, finger bang the birds to make them fly away, get them all spicy and riled up so they stay alive. They don't know that you're the hero that the birds need and delicious birdies deserve. Who knows? So, either way, I like it. It's got some nice basic sounds. I kind of dig the artwork, and it's an interesting way of handling all in one screen. I just kind of wish there was more to do here, is usually my only gripe with sort of endlessy games. So, very nice job, Barry and crew. Very nice job to everyone. So, if you guys are interested in any of these games, links are in the description. Make sure that you get in there and you vote. We've only got 20 days, and I've sort of made it my mission-ish, mission, to play a bunch more games this time around and showcase so many things, because, you know, there's other people out there that showcase stuff like Jupiter Hadley. There's also the Button Mash Bros, and there's two more that I just saw, and I don't remember their names. I'm going to find them and give them a shout out in a couple of showcases. A lot of cool people covering a lot of cool games, but we can't all cover all the games. There's hundreds of these crazy things, and they're all delicious. So, until next time, if you enjoy these showcases, don't forget to like and subscribe. Helps me out a bunch. Especially because, oh look, the moon is the Fanny from the Nessie game. I see what you guys did there. You put Nessie's Fanny Moon back in. Oh, look at you. Alright, but yeah, it helps me out a whole bunch, and I'll be covering a whole bunch more of these games, and a whole bunch of other jams. I got to finish the Proc Jam while I'm doing this, and the 7-Day FPS Jam, and I haven't even started on the Indies vs. PewDiePie Jam. And those things are, like, practically over already. Well, probably, yeah, they are over, but I want to cover them anyway, because there's cool games in there. So, till next time, guys, I've been Larry the Chupacabra, and toodaloo.